I think it was banned 5 out of 6 games and picked once. It didn't have the best success, but let's see what I can do here. Axe, Mirana.
What do you think about also that they opt to go for the Bat Raider, not go for what's the common pairing in the Faceless Void?
I think it's okay just because Bat allows you to put on a lot of pressure. In case you decide to aggro as well, Bat versus Axe is okay. Turn rate is something that Mirana absolutely hates when she has to go through the sticky to try to get the leap off, just because positioning is so good for her, and you can automatically just counter it. You're chasing down a Mirana, she can't TP, she can't leap away because you can simply just flame break her back in. I think for both teams though, Terrorblade is a hero that I've seen both teams run quite successfully.
I think that's why they picked Axe in the first phase. TNC, they ran Keeper Axe a couple of times, and they also picked Terrorblade a lot. I think Axe is extremely good versus the Terrorblade, and will dissuade them from picking it.
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to add to the Bat Rider and Elder Titan. When you actually have one sticky on you, it's so hard to dodge the Spirit Storm. It's like almost impossible because you can't turn around. You have to pretty much like walk into the direction that you don't want to walk to, and then you're like in a really bad position.
VG.R.
Moving on now, we're going to be hopping into the second phase of picks. This comes after more Bandage here. VG.Reborn respecting that heavy Illusion Core game that TNC loved to pull out when they banned out the Alk and even get that Huskar out of the second phase. TNC removed the Slark, they also get rid of the Oracle, and now we look back their direction, gentlemen. We'll have to see. Mirana, more than likely going to be probably set up in that core position that we've been seeing, but it's time for them to get some backstaff here, some supports.
Now that we're in best of ones, are we actually going to see anything cheesy? And I think the standard is like, usually when you're about to get eliminated, you actually don't do anything crazy.
That's when you're really scared. Like when you're in the position of Wings last time, when they're up 1-0, that's when you want to go for cheese and just like get it easy 2-0, and if it doesn't work, you have another chance. But if you lose here, you're eliminated from TI. You don't want to risk that.
So I think the worst possible thing is if you're in a position where you're about to get out of TI, you go for the cheese and you lose, you would always think to yourself, why did we go for that? Why didn't we just try playing a standard game? Because I think if you come to a TI like this, you have to kind of assume that you're on that kind of skill level with the rest of the teams. Otherwise, you have no business being here. So there's no real point in going for something all out. Maybe a little uncharacteristic. Like I thought Huskar was a hero that was going to see some play from either teams, but automatically getting banned out by VG Gaming.
So something a little bit safe might be better, like Naga strats we've seen crop up a lot. Might suit this best of one style.
I'm still wondering what VG will do to counter the Bat Rider, because they could pick up the Nyx, but that would mean that they either run a very greedy jungle axe or a carry axe, and it's like very easily punishable by TNC if they want to draft into that style. And Shadow Demon is banned, Oracle is banned.
TNC's
Obviously we have the Vengeful, which I forgot about, that's not mine.
Good job, Black.
Yeah.
So that is going to be the way for them to bail out, of course, against the Bat Rider there. Alright, one always creeps through.
Yeah, perfect save against Bat Rider. Sets up lots of strategies. They can still go for the Terrorblade. Terrorblade Venge is super strong. X probably gonna go Iron Tail in jungle early on, because usually you wanna have very strong laners against that X, so he cannot bully your carry too much. But we have seen it before. Iron Tail and X just jungled so fast. Gets like level 6 before you're safe, and it's even level 4. If you do it properly.
I think it was VG Gaming Reborn that often abandoned the offlane completely. In the games against Liquid, it didn't even feel like they cared about that lane. Every single time that Mikasa would go down there, he'd just go down there and feed. So he just said, I'm going to pure jungle, and we talked about it. The Terrorblade was going to be a common pick between both these teams.
Yep.
And I think VG Gaming, it's hard right now because Shadow Demon's been banned out, so they don't have that natural counter to the Terrorblade. They could take a Morphling of their own, one of the harder carries that we've seen in this tournament, but it doesn't do quite well against Elder Titan, and I think TNC have decent ways to deal with them anyways.
Picking most carries into TB and Titan in one lineup, like that's something a while ago, like very long ago, 2015 I think, C9 would pick TB and Elder Titan a lot together, simply because you have to itemize against the Elder Titan and against TB at the same time, and it's like so hard. Whatever carry you pick, you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, especially in team fights, and I think VG Gaming's lineup is a little bit more standard. It feels like they're playing it the safest by far, and
Weaver?
Would you think that now we're going to see the fourth pick Weaver actually come out for VG Gaming?
He actually deals the best versus these three heroes. I was thinking like there's not that many other Bat Rider counters. There's like Juggernaut, Lifestealer, but like those don't feel that well versus Terrorblade, and Weaver is one of the best ones.
Weaver's really nice. Like
Slark had been banned out too, so it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, with Weaver's still in there, they're going to be snagging that one up. We go back to TNC now, gentlemen. We still have to get that hard 5 position support, and then likely their mid laner here.
I think for TNC, it's a little bit difficult right now. You need some sort of lockdown with your 5 position. You have heroes like Disruptor that do okay, but if you get behind early at all, can just feel awful as a hero.
The problem TNC has right now, they don't have like any save for Terrorblade. Oh, never mind. Now they do.
VG.R
Yeah, going for the silencer. Playing against the silencer with that lineup is going to be incredibly hard because you want to burst down the TB, but then you're just going to get global silence, and then he's just going to turn the fight around with the thunder. Like, I really like silencer as well as Bedroid on one team. You drag someone, you global silence, you pretty much get a free kill. And with Terrorblade, after the free objective as well.
5 seconds
VG Gaming, they don't have really good ways to deal with the silencer. No Lotus, or maybe later on with Axe, no Guardian Greaves carriers, no Yule's carriers too. It's not really easy for them. Maybe an early diffuse on Weaver, we may see.
I think when it comes to whoever gets the jump off in fights is going to be the most important. For example, if you have to use a global silence defensively, usually you've already wasted like 1 or 2 seconds of it, like half the timer on it. And Silencer's a hero that's naturally just going to sit back in fights, try not to get caught out. I think that a lot of this game just depends on if the Axe can get a decent blink dagger timing, if the Batrider can find his initiations.
Yeah, I would agree with you. As you're going to be on both these offlaners to kind of set the stage for the fight for either team, and then it could really break into almost a hot mess right there. Last bands to fly out. VG Gaming Reborn get rid of the Timber Saw. TNC say no to the Jug, and we go right back to TNC side now. We got to see. They've already just grabbed their 5th position silencer, so something for the mid lane could potentially be going against that Mirana.
It could be a bad rider middle as well. It's not terrible against Mirana.
That's true.
They could also pick up an offlaner. I'm not entirely sure what TNC prefer there, but they usually have like a more greedy kind of fighting carry in mid.
Yeah, I think that's
they usually have like offlane bad rider when they pick it.
Reserve time.
Like
it's usually a scaling one.
Yeah,
scaling 2 rather.
I'm surprised they ban on the Jug because it's like one of their go-to heroes when they have this like middle utility hero. But even so, it would probably be pretty bad against Weaver.
What other options do they have though? I can't really think of that many left in the mid lane. Aux band.
Tinker.
Alright.
Tinker silencer.
Tinker boot to travel to Elder Titan. You got some fun synergy in there.
Yeah, it's pretty greedy though. Like TB, Tinker,
and Silencer. Right?
Silencer, and Elder Titan is level 6-2 to deal damage. It's gonna be like, if they survive the early game, they're gonna have a very, very good game. But if VG can pressure them a lot early and get a big advantage, they're gonna have a very good time in this game.
I think VG Storm would have been pretty good against the rest of the heroes, but the problem is you're playing against a silencer. At the same time, TNC don't have the best ways to gank. Maybe we could see something a little bit more mobile for them. Because I feel like TNC, where their lineup lacks is they need to get into 5-on-5 team fights, which is why I was a little bit surprised to see the Tinker, but I think a lot of the heroes have already been banned out, and you want something that can, like Black and Really said, scale ahead into the late game. If for VG, I thought it would have been Storm, but because of the silencer, it makes things really awkward.
It's gonna be like super hard for them to play. They do go for the Storm.
Nice call, Will. It's your hero. You're wearing the blue and everything. Wonderfully done there. All right, gentlemen, we have our 5-minute spread apiece. What do you think, Black?
I do think I favor TNC's draft this game. However, I think VG just have like the more experience that will pull through for them.
I am unsure. I will say 50-50.
50-50?
Looks even to me.
For Vici, it'll be easier to farm out their cores. In the team fights, they might look a little bit shaky, but I think farm will overwhelm them in this game, so I think Vici take this.
Sounds great. With that said, we're going to go ahead and send things over to the stage now, where we have our 2 hyped casters. It's going to be Draskell and Owen. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you very much, Call Guy. Indeed, I'm Odie Pixel. I'm joined by Draskell for this one. VG Gaming Reborn going up against TNC in a best of 1, where they are playing for a difference of $200,000, Andy. That is crazy money. We're only giving the loser of this 100K because we're feeling nice today.
Well, I mean, I got to side with the panel a little bit here. I think that TNC's draft, if they can survive the early game, will be a little bit better, but VG.R, of course, being a squad of very, very experienced players, we'll have to see how much they can pressure the lanes and try to put TNC under the gun here.
So, in terms of drafts, overall, do you feel that there's one that's necessarily a bit easier to execute?
I mean, I guess you could say that having Tinker and Elder Titan for high ground defense and then Batrider and such, you can hold your 2-3s for a very, very long time, but I think VG.R just want to play non-stop aggression, and it's also, I think, a little bit harder for TNC to actually pressure the individual lanes. So if the Axe can snowball out of control, which we've seen before in the MVP series, you get ahead, you just start crushing. If that happens, I think TNC could be in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, and in terms of crushing lanes, do you feel that there's definitely a side that's got more pressure to perform at the earlier stages of the game? If this game does go on late, is there someone with a clear advantage?
I think VG.R are definitely the ones who want to perform better during the early game. Because you get the Axe of Blink Dagger, you want to start making moves with the blinks and getting initiations, getting kills, snowballing. Letting a Tinker go to late game, letting Terrorblade go to late game, especially with an Elder Titan and such, it's going to make it very, very difficult, I think, for VG.R to actually end it if they don't do well in the laning phase.
We can see the moment to start off with. Either
The
team
battle
are going to be
begins.
bumping heads around the rune spots. As Bomb Storm grabs his, and Tinker grabs theirs. Lane-wise, do you expect any kind of aggression coming out from either side? Are we going to see any help for the Batrider at the top? Will Sam H back up into the jungle early on, or is he going to be fine on the off lane?
I think for the time being, it's just going to be, what, Avenge and a Weaver. He might get harassed a bit, but I don't necessarily think he'll die unless he gets over-aggressive. Looks like for the time being, they're going to have FY up here as well. So yeah, this is actually, with the Mirana, this is a super scary lane. Kill him with just 2 stuns. The Weaver can chase into the tower as well, so he has to be very careful.
Especially with this lane ward already down by VG.R. They'll set up Magic Missile into the arrow. END coming in nice and close, getting the punches in, and Sam H. There's going to be no escape for this boy. He's got 1 Fairy Fire. He's going to try and make them take as long as possible for this one as he dupes out in the sideline, but they'll chase him down and get the first blood for end on the Weaver. VG.R with the start that they wanted, and indeed, that top tri-lane a little bit too potent for a bat to live through.
A little bit strange that he decided to show himself so early, and he skilled Sticky instead of Firefly. I mean, I get that, you know, you want to be able to have some kind of ability to trade in lane, but maybe he feels like staying up here is the choice to make sure that he gets a 1v1 matchup in mid, so his Tinker is not under pressure from the Avenge arrow, but he's going to get hit again.
Sam H in a lot of trouble indeed. VG.R, they'll say they'll take a second. I feel like we've only just seen this. 1 minute and 20 seconds in. 2 deaths on the off lane, and this is painful for TNC because you look back at some of their performances and they rely on Sam H to get to a point where he's going to be able to make the plays in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, the sacrifice that you're making for ganking the Batrider is the fact that Mikasa is not necessarily having the greatest time in middle lane. He's getting harassed by AU here pretty heavily, and they're just trying to make sure that Tinker gets even further ahead. Normally, in the lane, Tinker wins this matchup, but with a hero that's just sitting there constantly harassing you, it's going to be 10 times worse. So now VG.R need to decide whether they want to try to help out Mikasa or if they're okay with just going.
Easy AU came round for a bit of a warning, but FY's found him out. And he's going to chase him down. Force him back over to his side of the map. Looks like Mikasa won't come across with the arrow. Ooh, FY. Nearly connecting there, but AU's going to get lucky as well, finding himself a haste ring down bottom, so no more chase down.
Top lane again.
Oh,
gonna lose Sam H.
Sam H!
Actually dying to just the 2 heroes that time.
I mean, is this main stage kind of nerves? Do you think
He's level 1. He's trying to get level 2, so he goes really far up in the lane to try to get experience from the range creep, and he still doesn't have Firefly skill. So if he doesn't have Firefly, he just can't jungle. He needs to hit level 2 somehow. I mean, at this point, probably go up and get, what, 1 creep, and then just go try to jungle instead, because what he's doing is not working at all.
Why? Again? Oh, off you go. Boys the Elder Time as he comes back. You can see jungle. No, finding a good amount of levels understandably. No one from TNC has really come over to try and slow down the progression of this axe for the 3-minute mark. But of course, as this all goes down, this does mean that the TB, bottom lane at Raven, going to get absolutely uninterrupted farm on the Terrorblade. And what is the plan for VG.R in terms of dealing with a TB that's going to have a good start?
I think their answer is just No having the Blink Dagger, and obviously Spin dealing peer damage. You have a fairly decent way to kill the Terrorblade. Like, you have Storm Initiation with the Axe together on having Blink, and that should be more than enough, honestly, to get the kill without a natural save. Like, sure, Global Silence is going to be something you need to worry about a little bit later, but you don't have an Oracle, a Shadow Demon, Avenge, or anything like that to save him. So once he gets jumped, if you don't have Global, most of the time, if you don't have a Stomp, he's dead.
Jimmy, going to come towards the mid, harass FY back a little bit. And this is one thing as well with Demon Silencer. We saw obviously the start, and almost down bottom for Silencer to work his magic against. I mean, where are we going to start to see this Silencer pick really come into play for TNC?
There's a couple of ways that you can use it. It's nice to be able to counter-initiate. So once the Storm Ball's in, for example, you can Global on him, force him to itemize in a way that's not optimal. So instead of being able to go like a greedy Bloodstone Orca, you might have to buy an early Yules, or you might even have to buy an early BKB. And the other method is you can lasso somebody, pull them out, and Global on top of it to ensure that the Venge can't swap the lasso target. That's one of the ways that he was originally used Silencer, when you saw like Batrider, Centaur, and Silencer combinations, but it's a little bit of a change.
Hey, this is kind of his favorite spot. We found him here early. He's going to come back again. No, heading across, trying to help out, but Cuckoo, he's got an Arcane Rune, and Finland's got a second bit of burst down. TNC's first kill on the board. No. Continues to chase AU down. He's got backup in the form of En's Weaver coming in close as well. Cuckoo just trying to buy some space for the escape of AU, and it's going to be enough. VG.R unable to punish anyone on the side of TNC after they come nice and deep into their jungle.
It's surprising we actually saw the Weaver rotate for that. I mean, they didn't have a reliable disable outside of Nono maybe running in and getting a call, so it seems like a little bit of a waste of time there from End.
Oh, down on the bottom lane, as the FY's come in for a little bit of farm and experience, but Raven 43 for 3 still at the top, and we can absolutely see the difference between his farm and End's Weaver. 27 CS, so massive differences in the moment between the safe laners. Mid lane, TNC trying to make a move in onto Mikasa. Can't quite get the laser cast off as Mikasa gets himself back into the shadows. Bottom lane, VG.R actually smoked up. So they were looking for Raven. We've got both Nono and DDC working here, but Raven, see if he senses something's up. Himself in the lane. They also have FY around on the Mirana, so 3 heroes down here. They want to make a play.
He just pulled. This is really, really bad. He has no creeps.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, no, gets the perfect wrap around. DDC to set up Raven in a whole world of pain as VG.R get that kill on the Terrorblade, which was absolutely the highest of priorities at this point with him having free farm for the first 6 minutes.
That was just unfortunate circumstances. I mean, I guess you could argue that having creeps against Axe isn't even really helping you, but that just made it incredibly easy for VG.R to go for the dive. Very nice smoke timing there. A little bit for the Terrorblade, but yeah, I mean, VG.R are doing what they need to do. They realize, you know, ganking the Terrorblade, keeping him down, trying to get Nono blink as fast as humanly possible, because he's still the second highest farmer in the game.
Top lane as well as we saw, Sam H, he's managed to not die again after the first 3 deaths. He's hopefully level 4, so getting a bit more of the experience. Mid lane Mikasa. Let's see in terms of farm, still struggling against the Tinker. Obviously TNC have been putting a lot of pressure on the Storm mid, and certainly fell at the moment. DDC coming with a very interesting wraparound. Walks into Demon, AU as well. The Storm actually going to be totally on point. DDC just playing games with TNC at the moment, but they'll continue to chase him down. It looks like he's going to make them spend a lot of the time going for this Venge kill. Oh, can he deny himself? No, the burst from Demon is too much, and Silencer will be able to punish the Venge. Picking up a second kill now for TNC.
Denied. And that's a bit of space created. Having that Venge walking around the woods, having 3 heroes chasing him for that long. It's probably more than okay for VG.R given their current state. The Axe and the Weaver are still farming extremely well. The one person who's suffering the most though is Mikasa. Like, this guy is just having a heck of a time in the middle lane. He's only got 18 CS. I see a little bit of bottle abuse here from the side of VG.R, but yeah, I think they need to rely on the Blink Dagger timing more than anything now, because since the Storm is so far behind, it's really hard, I think, to recover just from straight up farming in this game. I think going for ganks with the Axe is going to be the best avenue to take TNC off guard, so hopefully, you know, Nono's Blink timing is still going to be on point here.
Well, FY still clearing out the illusion, but we're going to see TNC pull Demon down here as well to make sure the Raven is not left alone. Fine, playing it safe. Top lane. DDC's going to head with this movement. Gets a ward down. Eyes towards the top. He's on his own at the moment. Looks like he's going to play it safe and moving forward aggressively. And the Elder Titan backs away.
Coin for me.
This point of the game, 4 for 2. VG.R certainly managed to find the initial kind of kicker to the game. They certainly felt they had the flow, but PNC have been able to slow it down a bit. As we can see in respect to some of the cores, it's still an even game in this laning stage.
Yeah, they definitely would prefer a slower paced game as well, side of TNC. They want to make sure their Tinker gets the core items up, they can deep-push all the waves. I mean, sure, Storm is always going to be a bit of an issue, but if the Tinker is really far ahead of the Storm, then the Tinker can probably still live through most of the ganks unless they're committing multiple heroes, so it's not really as big of a concern until Mikasa starts to make his recovery. But VG.R, they get a tower at the very least.
Middle tower is under attack.
Mikasa moving around, not necessarily to gank this time, but to help pressure some lanes. And again, it's all about that blink timing here.
I'm back over on the side of TNC looking at Cuckoo. He's nearly closed his first hurdle, 1800.
Radiant's top
Towards
tower
having
is
the
under
boost of
attack.
travel completed. VG.R able to make a play before that's done. Top lane, Mikasa moving in very aggressively. A TP reaction coming out immediately from Demon. Mikasa, he's got to get himself out, goes straight for the TP out. They're not going to have a cancel. So Mikasa able to pull a TP out of TNC at least and get himself back to safety.
Yeah, it was a very nice read of the situation. He knew since the Spirit was down, he would very easily be able to TP, because you can't get a ranged Echo Stomp in time. So, smoke up here from the side of VG.R. They're looking for a kill. Only about 700 gold away from the blink there on Nono.
I mean, at this point, if they can get either Sam H, Cuckoo, both players that are looking for those big items, they'll see them jump forward as VG.R trying to close the gap onto Sam H. He'll turn around. Down. Raven's also turned up to help out. With the Moonlight Shadow, VG.R disengage. And TNC no interest in chasing down for more. No.
Radiant's bottom tower
Put
is
his
under
eyes
attack.
towards the mid lane. But TNC all fairly close to the situation. We'll be able to hit back hard if VG.R blinded jump in. But it looks like TNC are nicely averting the aggression that
Radiant's
VG.R looking
bottom
to pull
tower
onto them.
is under attack.
The right move. I mean, at the very least, you want Demon to have global. He is so close to level 6. There's no reason to take an engagement when your silencer is pretty much one
Radiant's
creep away
middle
from
tower
being
is
a
under
much
attack.
more impact inside of the game.
Casa coming across, he's going to look to try and steal some of these creeps from Sam H. Does have to be careful himself as they do have the global available. Demon is going to look to set it up into the Echo Stomp. Mikasa, can he get himself out of here? Zips away, the rockets are going to fly through, but of course the Arcane Curse still on him because he keeps casting the ball lightning. Is it going to be enough damage? It's going to be close. He's dead. Mikasa, oh no, he can't live through that one. Jimmy Ho does it with the Arcane Curse. Too much for the Storm to deal with.
Looks like he underestimated the damage because there was a troll camp right there. He could have very easily just hit it and got himself killed to the neutrals instead. It's a bit of a misplay there. Maybe he's, I mean, not many silencer picks, so again, maybe he just wasn't expecting the amount of damage output.
I mean, that's something that we really didn't talk about, but it absolutely destroys the Storm Spirit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, all of his Remnant's very small cooldown. You want to be using Zip a lot in fights to maximize your overload, so it's not a fun hero to play against the Storm.
As we can see as well at the top, Terrorblade, Raven, top of the board in net worth. Dragonlance, 1300 gold on top as well, so still very good progression for him. The same can be said, of course, for End. It's pretty much sitting on par, and of course with a very similar build as well at this point of game as the Terrorblade. So both safe laners in similar positions.
Is under attack.
Now that's the Blink Dagger picked up for Axe. We'll see what kind of plays VG.R can pull out with this one. They've got 3 towards the bottom at the moment. They want to move in and try and make a play. Already TPs from TNC coming towards the mid laners. It looks like they themselves might want to see if they can catch out Mikasa again.
I think it's going to be a little bit harder without global to really be able to get a kill like that. Plus the fact that VG.R's warding sees a lot of what's going on TNC's side of the map, so they know the aiming stack's going on. They know that Raven's sitting over here farming away at the large camp. Nothing's really going to catch him off guard. I like what they're doing though. They're protecting FY, pushing in bottom. They haven't shown the blink yet, and I don't believe that Nono walked by any wards, so this will be the reveal of the dagger. To kill it would be very, very good for them.
Got to be very, very careful. But at the same time, as you said, with the ultimate from Jimmy coming back off cooldown, which should be fairly short, TNC will have a protection to fight back, but Nono jumps in. Call on to Cuckoo, the burst is there. The global comes out, but it doesn't do anything off the back of this. He managed to get the save off, but Nono still goes down. They'll lose one. DDC trying to get himself away. Sam H tries to chase, but they don't have detection. So with a straight 1-for-1, Nono throws his life in and is able to take Cuckoo down with him.
I think it's probably worth it trading the Tinker for the Axe. Like, not by a huge margin, but you know that TNC's game plan is to try to play slower pace, get March, push out the waves, delay until the Terrorblade becomes a real big issue. Trading your life in that scenario is fine. Plus, they also committed global. Grand scheme of things, VG.R probably feeling okay with the current situation.
Right? Looking for End, but it's a hard catch. Sentry's going to be dropped down. And already getting himself out. Silence though, and AU's going to connect the stop. Last up, but DDC swap not quite enough. DDC may himself be in trouble as they close in. Flame Break to cancel the TP. And TNC, they'll take both of them down.
Important to remember that last word also is very good against Weaver, because once you catch Akuchi, you can't time-lapse. So if you're taking a huge amount of damage in that, because obviously they dropped the sentry, and you have a really hard time recovering from it. He was just, again, not used to playing against Silencer. It's a hero we just don't really see that often.
The pick so far certainly working out for TNC. Mikasa certainly been able to get himself a bit more space, but again, Silencer coming into play. Some issues for Mikasa. Point boost tonight, a little bit tanky. In this rune as well, and still the DD active. True would love to try and make a play back on TNC, but they already back up, and TNC working together as a 3-man, AU, Demon, and Raven. Raven's farm continues to skyrocket, and I mean, you remember back, what, a few minutes ago we saw him on the same as the Weaver, but that last bit of play, he's now really starting to create the difference between the two of them.
And you can tell that VG.R feel the pressure from this. They don't want that TB to get out of control. This is the second smoke they're going to be using in just a couple of minutes. They really, really want to try to get something done here. They have the mech finished up on FY, they have the Blink Dagger on Nono, and we'll see if they can make something happen.
At the moment, just AU towards the mid lane. And a wrap around towards bottom, but TNC See themselves playing very, very safely at the moment. No one really out on the map, all behind tier 2s. As TNC just reading the situation very, very well, and it looks like VG.R just going to be unable to catch anyone off guard with its movement.
They understand that VG.R are the ones who, if they get the jump on you and you don't have all of your abilities available, it's going to be very difficult because the axe initiation, even with the global, still ends up killing the Tinker. You just really want to make sure that you're in a good position. You don't really have much of a reason to force engagements until at least the Batrider has flank. Because keep in mind, Sam he went for the drum scope. He did not go straight flank. So until you get that item, you can't really utilize the global in an offensive fashion unless VG.R are committing to a fight on you. That being said, TNC just have a very good understanding of the way their lineup is meant to play the game.
Down here as well from TNC, spotting out VG.R. They actually want to smoke on top of this. TNC spotting the whereabouts of VG.R, seeing if they can find a way to close the gap. You said without that blink is a little bit hard for them, especially with FY, Moonlight Shadow, VG.R themselves looking to come back in. TNC, and they're going to reveal themselves. Cuckoo comes out, just caught eyes on him, no, pings him out, but looks like they're going to back away, VG.R. Wait in the sidelines, but TNC again, playing very, very safely at this point, and as you said, this is exactly what TNC need to do. They've got a Tinker, they've got a TB, they've just got to make sure that they don't lose bad fights at this early stage of the game.
Even if they do take a fight, all your cooldowns are up, I think it's still manageable. As long as your global results in at least one of the heroes dying on VG.R, like preferably a core, either End or Mikasa would probably be fine. You can also take fights that way, but you know, Raven more or less has just been doing his farm thing. He doesn't really want to come to fights until he has everything that he needs. But in that sense, TNC are doing a very good job at slowing the pace. Like they still have a tier 1 standing right now. That tier 1 is super important for their lineup to maintain control of the jungle. So as long as they have that, VG.R are going to struggle taking over the game the way they want to.
And VG.R, as we've seen, they're a lot of time down in that jungle around that tier 2 spot, looking to see if they can get a catch. That's not working out. What else can VG.R look to achieve around the map?
I think they're actually focusing too heavily on sitting in this part of the map. Like, it makes sense because you want to restrict the Tinker. You don't want him to be able to just farm like jungle camps at the same time, teleport to another lane, farm that as well. But they're not really getting anything by just standing here, and they weren't really contesting the Ancients either, so Raven just gets the full stack, has massive finish now on top of the Dragonlance. They're still out farming a little bit, but the Terrorblade's getting further and further ahead, and that's the primary issue, because your Storm doesn't really have an item yet, and it's 17 minutes in. Like, this is one of the more underfarmed Storms we've seen so far here at TI. Batrider now with the blink complete as well, so TNC themselves may even see them look for active fights. All the ultimates back and available. And indeed we will. TNC smoking up. Leading the way. They know that VG.R have been spending a lot of time down around this bottom lane.
Tower is under attack.
So they're able to kick something off. But Blink Dagger's also done now for Cuckoo on his Tinker. They can certainly fight TNC if they find some kind of catch, but already VG.R looks like they're done and dusted with this bottom lane presence. They will get themselves out of there. The only one hanging around at the moment is FY. He's deep inside the tree line. Unable to find anything. So TNC can't quite find VG.R and vice versa at the moment. Neither team really being caught out of position, understandably so. When you're in these best of one situations with such high stakes, you're going to see a lot of reserve play. Yeah, absolutely. This game is just massive for both these teams. And I think it's even showcased by some of the itemization that VG.R has made. You know, I didn't really talk about it much, but FY, the fact that he decided to go for the mech build, we haven't really seen a whole lot of that here at TI6. It's mainly just been people going for the Aghanims build straight up. They just give the Mirana more farm priority as the game goes on. He becomes more of a split push hero, and then you just get out of control the later the game goes. In a way, because he has a mech and they're not utilizing it by team fighting, the item isn't really doing anything for him. You really want to be able to force engagements when you have that kind of advantage, and knowing that TNC wouldn't really buy a mech. It's like, speaking of TNC, they'd be going for another smoker. Absolutely, and bringing everyone this time. Raven's going to be joining the cause as well with the Terrorblade. As you said, Manta style done. And Raven already a comfortable amount ahead of End's Weaver at this stage. 2.5k difference between them. They're going to look to try and find a pick at lead. FY at the moment reveals himself bottom, and Sam H will jump in immediately. Mirana, no escape whatsoever, and TNC find themselves a pickoff, albeit not really the biggest of pickoffs they could have hoped for with a 5-man movement. Or 4-man movement, sorry.
It's still fine because it gives them space. It takes VG.R off their side of the map. They know that for the most part, if the Mirana's dead, there's no Moonlight Shadow. Makes it a little bit less stressful for Cuckoo to push out other lanes, which he's kind of doing right now. Does also allow them to get a little bit more vision. So they just know, like the mech carrier's dead. If the mech carrier's dead, the likelihood of VG.R taking anything other than a quick piss is very, very low.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Lane and
Radiant's
comes
middle
in.
tower is forced
Let's hope the push get the tower. Mikasa. All playing around this area. We're going to see TP's in. Jimmy does have a global. That's already backs up. Bottom lane Raven. Finding space to get more money for the Terrorblade. 11,500 net worth. 20 minutes in. He is certainly starting to get out of control, and just begs the question, Andy, do you feel VG.R are wishing that they were just able to get more done in the early stage of this game?
I feel like the axe just hasn't necessarily had the impact that they wanted it to. He does have a blade mail now, so that might help the situation a little bit. But no, I mean, he's been involved in 2 kills. You really want to have a lot more than that if you're VG.R by this point. Like, you have Mirana, Storm Spirit, and an axe. These heroes are by nature very aggressive. They want to try to fight, and TNC have been playing very well around them, just slowing down the game. Don't want to take any needless fights, and if they are going to fight, they're just making sure all of their cooldowns are available. It's a very simple concept. They can delay the game and sit on their high ground if they want to. They can rely on the Terrorblade to carry them during the later game stages, and since they know that VG.R aren't controlling the map enough, feel pretty safe.
This is potentially a smart move from VG.R. They realize at this stage, both teams have kind of been going around each other. They'll look to Roshan. With the Desolator event, they're going to do it fairly quickly. TNC will start to make a move over, and it looks like they will get there in time to contest. The ult up and available, but no. Jumps in, looks to initiate onto AU. F5 just forward with a global from Jimmy. It's going to slow down VG.R's start. Here comes the ult from the other time. It's not only going to catch No. They've lost AU on the other time. Mikasa as well, able to finish off Cuckoo. The VG.R, despite the global from Jimmy, they fight through it, find themselves 2 kills and head immediately back into the pit. TNC just left with 3 standing and unable to contest this play from VG.R.
The Tinker was so far out of position during that fight.
Roshan
I mean, that was actually kind of crazy by Cuckoo. I'm not sure how he even got over there in the first place, because there wasn't even a swap used. He was just in the middle of the freaking river without his team. He just joined the fight there from TNC, and VG.R will take full advantage of this, getting the use of the Aegis now. Bloodstone charges as well for Mikasa as he finished it just before that fight kicked off. Now No with a very large ancient stack going his way. This is the kind of kick momentum that VG.R really needed.
Oh no.
Ancients are pretty tough, No. They're strong.
Defend them, not get killed by them. Himself back. The lens picked up by Cuckoo. As you said, he's got to be careful in these fights because TNC at this stage of the game, they're relying on him to get the burst out with the lasers and the rockets. Without that, they're not going to kill some of the tankier heroes of VG.R, like, of course, No on his axe.
Well, the bigger thing about getting Roshan is, for a team like VG.R who have these multiple ways of initiating, having an Aegis just gives you license to kill. You just go in, because you know you have the Aegis advantage. Storm is arguably the best carrier in the game of this item. You just go in with full mana, you use your entire mana bar to kill 1 or 2 heroes, and you respawn with full mana again. You can just either keep fighting, or by that point TNC have already backed off, and that's exactly what VG.R want. Don't want to give TNC any more breathing room than absolutely necessary, and the fact that TNC lose that fight, it means that they pretty much don't want to take an engagement unless they're fighting around a tower.
And I guess it has to be said as well, you look at Mikasa at the moment, he's only about 400 behind Tinker, and this was a Storm that was effectively getting crushed in the lane at the beginning of the game.
He had a very, very good recovery, and plus he's only died once. That's the bigger thing. During the laning phase, he was getting zoned out by an Elder Titan pretty hard, but he never let himself get picked off. This is why he was considered one of the more stable mids, obviously, being the team coach. He usually doesn't die that much, which is a really good thing on Storm. More about just consistency than anything else.
Look at the lasso jumps in immediately. They've got a global as well if they need it, but it looks like the damage from Raven's enough to bring him down once. Question is, can they kill him again? Still holding on to the global silence. Demon gets it off. Mikasa, can he get himself out? Kills himself. Does manage to get the Bloodstone denied. But you can see already TNC looking for more. Chasing down Nono. Gets the pick off. End on the backlines. Trying to pick off AU on the Outer Titan. We're chasing down with the Shikuchi. TNC trying to make their way over to help him. AU looking for the Dukes. The Stomp. It's there. AU gets himself out. And now Ed in a whole world of trouble. They don't have protection. He's going to come out Shikuchi. The silence is there. But he's already out. And Nono and FY, they're tagged in. Gets the call off onto Sam H. Raven's trying to help with the dunk from Nono. Finishes him off. Raven's looking for the cleanup. He'll get the kill onto Axe. Can they get themselves anything more, TNC? To chase him down, but VG.R back off. Maybe even thinking about coming back in as Mikasa is already respawned. It is straight down to the bottom lane. TNC on the way back, but a bit of a messy fight there between the two teams. They're able to kill Mikasa twice, but VG.R, they certainly hit back hard.
That was really unfortunate. Like, hitting the Aegis and having it completely wasted.
Radiant's
Not really what VG were looking for, but they still managed to secure a tier 2. Nice use of global there by Demon as well. The timing was perfect. Making sure that Mikasa couldn't get himself away. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a tower and they still got a handful of kills, so maybe not perfect, but it might be good enough for VG.
TFY's progression at the moment towards Aghanims.
Oh my god, this
halfway there.
He's got a Scotty?
Yeah,
Raven is so farmed. Look at his net worth,
Yeah,
man.
he's had an absolutely fantastic game so far. I mean, he's been hitting creeps. 25 minutes in, 244 CS. He's only died the once. They're absolutely looking very, very stacked at the moment. And as we saw in that last fight, VG.R, they've got a fair few mobile heroes that can get away, but the damage, once they get close, is a lot. Cuckoo caught out. Gasha and DDC, and the Tinker down for 50 seconds. Just throw Sam H up into the air and get themselves out. But again, it's a big kill getting the Tinker, but still, I can't help but feel that Raven, he's the real target for VG.R at this point. You need to kill the Terrorblade.
He's really difficult to kill, though. Having the Manta style and a global silence to protect you is no joke. Like, global almost ensures so massive.
Oh, absolutely. Sam H setting up onto Mikasa. The swap's there from DDC. The global comes out from Jimmy. They'll look for DDC. They will manage to cancel the TP with the Flame Break. This is simply Avenge giving his life for the coach. And as coach says, good job, son. Mikasa gets himself back to base. And that was a lot blown for that Venge kill by TNC.
I mean, it's okay, I think. If you're making sure, again, that VG.R are just not going to be fighting you and you can get more farm on the TV. Because he still needs, he still has some more inventory slots. And it's not like he's getting out-farmed by anyone. He's 50% more net worth than the highest person in VG.R right now, which is the Weaver. Don't think he's feeling particularly scared. VG.R are really trying to avoid confrontation with him because they realize how farmed he is, and the only way they're killing him is if they just get everything dumped on him at the same time, and there's no global.
Oh, meanwhile, I mean, no. He's just found himself a freebie on Jimmy. It's like he was out alone, and Mikasa, joining forces with the Axe, was able to take down a silencer. Even something back in return. VG.R top lane, the arrow from FY connects, and got a Death Zone. It's a fair bit of damage with the Starstorm as well. VG.R find themselves a quick second, so TNC a bit lapsed there with their concentration, losing two heroes in positions that they shouldn't have been.
Well, they're not losing cores, at least. One thing you can look to and be happy about for TNC for the time being. There will come a stage when the Storm becomes a lot scarier, and the way that VG.R are going to take fights is very, very scrappy. They want to just catch people out. They don't want to take the full 5-man because of fear of global. And obviously the Terrorblade is a very hard target to bring down at this stage because they just don't have the right item progression for it. But as time goes on, that'll slowly change. Nono's got a BKB now. So he can BKB off the global silence and go in under March, stuff like that. It's going to be very helpful for him to make sure that he can get his target.
Yeah, and we can see as well ends Weaver just a few hundred away from his BKB as well. So I guess with those two BKBs, VG.R are just suddenly in much a better position to take these fights.
It's a relatively good power spike against Silencer. And normally you don't want to have to buy BKB until much later into the game just to maximize your efficiency and item progression, but it's fine in this game because you just need to get rid of global. The biggest problem that these heroes are having.
Up top, DDC was looking to try and find the setup onto Cuckoo. Quite get the vision to do so. TNC still sticking around together as a group. I mean, when do you imagine we're going to see a team look to actively take a fight? I mean, do VG.R still feel the pressure? Or after these BKBs, do they sit back and look for more? And they've got 3 groups up behind the tier 2 here, so it looks like potentially VG.R may be setting up for play at the moment. Yeah, bringing in Nono as well on his Axe. DDC. Chilling, I mean.
Well, they're all kind of standing
It
around.
looks like they're scared of maybe TNC coming for something.
Yeah, but they have vision though.
Yeah.
They had a ward in middle lane and it scouted the TB for a second, so they're gonna move on to the map once again. I think they were gonna try to smoke, but they actually don't have one.
Is this one coming out in the corner now?
Yeah, okay. I guess
Oh no,
it
it's
was-
not. No, they're simply terrified by the looks of it of TNC.
Well, this is a best of one lower bracket. You know what I mean? Like you get scared when you don't see the enemy team on the map, and you know that they have comparable farm and the ability to take team fights with an ability like Global Silence.
And we did of course see them come across with that ward up towards the top lane. The VG.R,
They just like snap Mirana ulted when they saw that TB illusion.
they are absolutely terrified. But it looks like they're going to build up the courage to try and take a fight with TNC. Heading
Sentries
towards
everywhere.
the top.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
VG.R being incredibly timid. They need someone to make the call, someone to jump in and initiate the fight, but as we can see, realize how hard it's going to be. Sam HG gets the jump first. Global comes out from Jimmy. Let's see what TNC can finish off, and he gets the time that's over now. Fighting back Raven, pulling into Nona, but the blade mail's on. They've already lost the back. They've lost Jimmy as well. 2 down on TNC, and Nona still standing strong. Raven trying to get the damage out, looks towards DDC, takes down the bench. FY, he's going to pull the ball, gets the call up. Nona, but Raven ripping the side of VG.R to shreds. They need to kill this TB.
No, man.
But he's just killing them. Mikasa kills himself. Raven at this point, and Cuckoo with the drive-by rocket to the backside. VG.R getting team wiped, and Terrorblade absolutely out of control. Raven 6-1-1, nearly hitting 20,000 net worth at 31 minutes in.
He did so much damage during that fight. Mikasa didn't know that he had a diffusal blade, so when he falls in, he was expecting maybe to get 1 or 2 more zips, but he just got mana burns, and he couldn't get away.
Look at the face, the composure of Raven. He is like, all right, just another day in a pub. He is
A stone-faced
absolutely
killer,
chilling.
man.
He knows how much this means. Just look at this replay again. I mean, where does it all go wrong for VG.R?
Well, Nono had really good BKB timing here. The global comes out super early from Jimmy, but as soon as he gets the call on the Bat Rider, the lasso pretty much accomplished nothing, and they're committing very heavily on the Silencer, who had already used his ultimate at this point. You can see the Sunder going out through end on the BKB, brings him down to half health already at this point, and he didn't have time left anymore, so by the time it's all said and done, they just didn't have any damage left for the hard carry on the team.
Absolutely insane. I mean, just, look how tanky he is as well at this point. Well, 2.4k health, and he had over 30 armor. That's a hero, Andy.
It certainly is a hero. Terrorblade, Dota 2.
I mean, if you're VG.R, you've just been through that fight. You're going to not want to let that happen again. But there's a smoke up. It looks like it could be the sneaky Roche.
There's no, oh actually it's going to be up in 10 seconds, so there is global.
TNC could certainly try and fight this if they're aware that's going on. VG.R, they're going to be able to do it a little bit quicker than they were before, but with the
This is kind of all
coming
in,
in,
right?
Yeah, TNC knows what up, and VG.R, they're not going to have the chance to finish this one without a fight as TNC closing around. Sam H has the lasso available, jumps in, grabs Mikasa, brings him back into Raven. Storm Spirit falling low, will be able to use himself up. No, BKB gets the call for Raven with the Thunder, stays alive, takes down No. It's another kill for the Terrorblade as VG.R. They're sent packing for the time being. Cuckoo will come across, but FY leaps away. VG.R just unable to fight this Terrorblade at this stage of the game. And they go for any kind of big play here at the moment. They've got a swap, they've got an arrow. There's the swap. DDC's come in. Mikasa as well. They tried to cause havoc. It's not going to work though. DDC back on the cliff. Mikasa can go for a big play. They've got the kill, but Sam grabbed the Aegis. VG.R take down Roshan, but they still get the Aegis. Sam H jumping forward. Mikasa got on the mana, goes for a 1v1, pops the Aegis. No Bloodstone Deny available, still on cooldown. And Mikasa's got to run, he got to hide, he can't do it. Cuckoo with the final laser to the face as VG.R once again getting taken down big time.
It is looking real grim for VG.R after that Roshan fight. That was, I feel, one of their last hurrahs. They wanted to try to time it so that there was not going to be a global, so they just immediately go as soon as everyone's alive again and hope for the best, but unfortunately their timing just wasn't quite good enough, and as soon as they get that lasso initiation onto the Storm Spirit, regardless of whether or not they get the kill, they force Mikasa out of the fight for an extended period of time, and that's a core just gone. He can't come back, he can't expend that much mana going into the fight, and once again, Raven's just unbelievably farmed. Just buys a full BKB, already has 1,600 gold in his inventory. It is going to be a tall order for VG.R to bring this one back.
This has been an absolutely solid performance from Raven, and the team has just, they've played around him perfectly. up until this point. We said at the start, you know, how are VG.R going to respond to the fact that they're letting a Terrorblade free farm? At this point, it seems that they themselves don't know the answer to that question. They've just been unable to take him head on in these 5v5 fights.
VG.R need to play the scrappy style. They can't just sit there and let Terrorblade auto-attack heroes or they will lose the fight. That's the whole reason why they pick a carry like Weaver, because Weaver doesn't really sit there and just trade right clicks. He's very mobile, goes around the fight, picks off the backline, and then continues to work on the carries when the supports are actually dead. But the problem is, he's never really getting those kills fast enough in the global plus taunt and the Batrider.
Oh, and Sam H! He may have had a rocky start to this game, but his initiations have been absolutely perfect. And he is, you know, absolutely recovered for the fact that he gave away 3 very early kills.
I think a lot of those kills were better off being him than his mid player. Because obviously it put Cuckoo in a really good position to not have to worry about other heroes rotating on him until later. Zip in here for Mikasa.
VG.R
That's right.
Something to slow this down. 40 seconds still without end on the Weaver. Fortification comes out, but TNC in this best of 1, they can smell victory and moving forward.
Look at this illusion spread, Owen. This is disgusting.
And this, the Raven just ripping the base, the hopes and dreams of VG.R to shreds. It is going to be a second set of rounds down. On the back though, VG.R trying to fight for the global. Oh, Jimmy shuts VG.R the hell up. Raven moving in with the BKB, looking for the axe kill. Cuckoo jumps in as well. The swamp for DDC will save the axe, but he'll pay with his life. Mikasa still playing around on the backlines with Sam H. He's going to have to kill himself. And Cuckoo, oh, can they get the kill? He'll deny himself. FY down again. 60 seconds on the sidelines from Mirana. There's a buyback from Mikasa. TNC only losing 1 there. Mikasa's got to do a big play, but that's not the play. Sam H says yes, dip straight into my lasso, son. 3 down on VG.R. Only ends a no left, and no, he's down. VG.R loses. Jimmy and the boys have done it. TNC move forward, taking out VG.R in the first round of the lower bracket. Oh, they've got to feel so good about that, Andy. These best of 1s are an absolute nightmare, but TNC have done it against all odds.
Big props to Jimmy there. I love the draft that game. I thought that the Silencer was a stroke of brilliance against the Storm, Spirit, the Weaver. It was just so hard for VG.R